recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you all for being here, again, and spending some time with us on these important issues. I'd like to start by commending all of you, led by the Secretary, for your renewed focus on the vital role of the DOE, our science and energy workforce, and our energy resources have to play in national security. It's been an area that I think has been way under-discussed when it comes to issues of countering Russia, countering our enemies overseas, et cetera. It's something I've often stressed in this committee, and I look forward to continuing to work with all of you on it. To Mr. Bruyette and Minzes, did you guys get the hardest names possible to come here? So I thought Kinzinger was tough. So in the hearing with Secretary Perry a few months ago, I raised concerns that DOE was not always fully represented or engaged on energy matters pursued by the State Department due to the establishment of an energy bureau at state. Will you discuss the value of DOE engagement internationally when the U.S. meets with other nations' energy ministers? Why is it important for DOE to be at the table? Either one of you can start.
Sure. Well, sir, as I leave for Saudi Arabia and UAE tomorrow, I can speak firsthand to the importance of those conversations. I did return from several overseas trips. I represented the President and the Secretary in Kazakhstan, Tokyo, Japan, and Santiago, Chile, just recently. And each one of those conversations brought new ideas. They brought a richness, and candidly, I know some concerns were raised here about U.S. interest. It gave us an opportunity to articulate and in some cases to protect U.S. interests with regard to energy development and security. We value those conversations very deeply. The Secretary does, I do. We do have a very robust and a very aggressive International Affairs Department within our organization. It is led by an Assistant Secretary. He is not yet confirmed, or she is not yet confirmed. I don't know who the nominee will be, but it will come forward shortly to the U.S. Senate. But we hope to have that position filled very, very shortly. We're going to continue these conversations around the world. With regard to our State Department colleagues, we interact with them very closely. I never travel internationally without collaborating with the State Department and in many cases integrating our work. So that process.
Well, no, I mean, all of us when we travel, we work with state, but do you sense silos? Are there areas we need to break through those silos where there's duplicative action or counter action?
Sure.
Well, we work closely with our State Department colleagues, as the deputy said. We are trying to enhance our collaboration so that we can have much fuller communications between the two, because in the past, there really has been a break, at least with respect to the energy component at the State Department. There appears to be sometimes conflicting missions. And so we are now taking positive steps to try to see and understand what they do. We know what we do, and so we hope that we can work together to achieve some efficiencies and really gain an understanding of what they are doing and what they hope to accomplish. Good,
thank you. And I'm also on this committee, but I'm also a member of the Foreign Affairs Committee, so I've traveled a lot in that capacity, and it really does blow me away the number of times, and I get it, we have a big government, but that I see sometimes state countering the message of other parts of government. So I think the more you guys can coordinate and work together, the more beneficial it is, not for DOE or state, but for America. Mr. General Klotz, and thank you for your service to the greatest branch of the military. On the nuclear security front, I understand that DOE and the National Nuclear Security Administration have done considerable work to enhance detection of radiological smuggling from former Soviet states, along with almost 60 partner countries. Can you provide an update about the process of the nuclear smuggling detection and deterrence program and what you're doing to ensure that we can safely transition to a model where countries fully fund the sustainment and maintenance of the equipment we supply? And I want to add on that, it's something that people don't think about much anymore because, it's just out of our purview. So,
well, thank you very much for that question. The nuclear detection and smuggling program is one of the most important ways in which we try to work to make sure that special nuclear materials do not get in the hands of bad guys, whether the bad guys are a rogue nation that wants to develop a nuclear weapon or a terrorist that wants to use nuclear or radiological materials in an improvised bomb to sow terror and panic. We have worked, as you said, with a number of different countries. Our business model basically is to go in, work with our national, deploy technology that's been largely developed through our national laboratories, including the non-NNSA national laboratories, train the individuals who operate this, help them for a period of basically 5 years. And over that 5-year period, the objective is to transition the maintenance, the recapitalization, and the training necessary to operate that to the host countries. We've sent a couple reports over since I've been in the seat on where we're doing that and what the progress is, and I'd be happy to make sure your staff gets the most recent copy of that.
Again, thank you all for being here, and I yield back.
Ms. Schrader.